Every day, the simplest things can trigger your mind into going so much deeper, so much further in your realization of the many aspects of life. And what do I mean by that? Well, I was forwarded an Instagram post, and I won't say who, because I know they're a very private person, but the energy in this post was phenomenal. And what was it, you may ask? Well, it was a woman who has a Instagram page named Flying Over 50. Flying Over 50. And I went and checked out even more of her posts. And she's a woman who is definitely over 50, looks well, but she has a stripper pole in what looks like her residence, because I can see a kitchen in the back and, stove and microwave, and there's a mirror behind the stripper pole. Now, many people would say, come on, Granny, what are you doing with a stripper pole in the middle of your living room? Well, why not? Why not? Because the way she presented herself, you could see that this wasn't something lewd. Maybe she did this stuff back in the day. Maybe she just learned it because they give classes on that. But on a physical level, I feel that this is excellent exercise. But it goes deeper than that from what I observed. And I had to comment on it because I sent messages back and forth to my sister, and she agreed. Because I know I can be way out there sometime, and I restrain myself from saying things that people just won't understand. But when I saw the way she did this, she didn't put it up, these different posts, as an exploitation of her body, or she was in some type of midlife crisis and trying to prove something. No. When I saw her and the way she executed her moves, slowly, sensuously, it's an art form. And more than that, it was her energy. It was her meditation. There was nothing lewd about what she was doing. Even though she had on lots of times her stilettos, her fishnets, her different sensuous outfits, I understand that this wasn't that. And it made me go deeper, because I was thinking about sexuality, sensuality, eroticism, life force, not necessarily in that order. And I want to say that this is very important to maintain, because out of all of the systems of the body, you have the skeletal system, the respiratory system, the digestive system, the skeletal system. Did I just say that one? I couldn't even say all of them right away. But the reproductive system, which helps us to replicate ourselves into the future, it's not just about that. Because when you have a real connection, and we're not speaking about cheap sex, but when you have a real connection, no matter what the world calls it, oh, they're married, oh, they were shacking up, oh, they were this or that. When it's a real connection, and you can have a real connection with another individual, even if some people say, which I'm not condoning, oh, you're cheating. Circumstances are different. Since I went up that road, let me explain. You're with somebody who you chose them because of their attributes on paper, and you thought, oh, this will be a good fit, and this is what it's supposed to be. But you don't feel this person. You don't bond with them. In your younger years or prior mindset, you chose them. It was the best option, right? But then something happens, and you know how it is. You end up with somebody in a very intimate way, and you're like, oh my God, not just the physical sensations, but that soul connection. And this is what this woman in her artistry showed me, that we lost something. The music that she played, and there's one song that I really love that she played in the background, Inside My Love by Minnie Riperton. Oh my God. Not because of the words, and it was soft and stuff, but it touches your soul. And as a society, and this present day, we lost that for the most part. We lost it. We've disconnected the soul from the sensuality, which it leaves you with cheap, glorified friction provider sex. Friction, a feeling, an ejaculation or an orgasm, and that's it. And you don't even know the person. And of course, we are our own universe, which I call innerverse. But you can be with somebody 10 years and still discover more. Heck, most of us live most of our lives and don't know all about ourselves until we're put in certain situations. But this is an important component that we're missing, because when we deny maintaining our sensuality, it doesn't mean, oh, I have sex every day, so I'm good. No, it doesn't mean anything, because you can be a dead soul. You can be with somebody who's not connected to you, and all you're doing is swapping crotch sauce. It doesn't go higher. You can put a person who doesn't know how to fly an airplane in the cockpit and say, take this plane and let's go to the other side of the country or the other side of the world. If they don't know how, if they don't have a connection from their training and their experience with that plane and the certifications that you must have, you ain't going nowhere. So you as a man can have the biggest, hardest erection, and you as a woman can have the perfect shape, right? Juicy, good stuff. And there's no connection because there's no soul behind it. And this is what I see with this sister who puts out this artistry on her YouTube. You know, even here, it says in the quote on that particular post, it says, aging is having full agency over your divine femininity. Yeah? And she has some hashtags here. Granny on her crone, sexy never gets old, only 64, so she's 64 when she posted that. High priestessing, longevity lifestyle, 60 is sexy, and so on and so forth. Where's the cutoff point? I'm not talking about just walking around being horny, but having that life force that undergirds your sensuality, which shows that you're very healthy. Because I've learned it personally. When I had malaria and almost died, or even times before that when I had severe cases of the flu, I wasn't thinking about anything sensuous. I wasn't thinking about anything that would turn me on. I wasn't thinking of anything sex. That's the first thing to go. Because like I said before, and I kind of cut myself off, out of all the systems of the human body, your reproductive system can be removed or not utilized at all, and you won't die. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to say you're going to go crazy, but you're not going to live to the fullest extent. So you got to understand that it doesn't mean that you're a harlot, doesn't mean you're a nymphomaniac or a fast man. When you harbor and maintain your sensuous self, and even if you're home by yourself and you enjoy your body and you see your body, not just the physical dimensions because we're not going to be at 60 what we were at 20, right? But just the sensuous side of yourself, that no matter what weight you are, you have that spark inside of you, no matter how big or skinny or tall or what people would say old, because we're all old. When you're 4 years old to a 2-year-old, you're old. And what is old? Some people have resigned from life, right? And they're 22, therefore they're old. It's when you have no use. So if you're going through something of a health issue and you don't have too much feeling for sex, maintain your sense of sensuality. I slipped. I didn't mean it that way. But you can maintain your sense of sexuality, but let it be something real. Let it be something elevated. Let it be something ascended, not something degraded. Because the commercial platforms out here make it just about body parts, making it just about being horny and I'm gonna get you just on lust. What I see here with this sister is connection, and righteous soul ties. You see, soul ties we speak about in such a negative way because many of us abuse our sensuality and sexuality and get soul ties with people that we don't need to get connected to. But in our foolishness and our affected mindset, we let sex pull us into something of what we think would be sensuality, and we connect it with something on a lower vibration, and it will bring you down. Because like I always say, when the number 100 went to bed with the number 50, the number 100 woke up the next morning as 75. The number 100 lost because it connected with something lower. I'm not saying you're better than anybody else, but when you get with somebody and connect with them and they're on a lower vibration, you diminish yourself, right? But the lower vibration woke up as 75 too because it averaged out with you. You pulled it up. So you have people who want to suck from you. Sorry to use that particular word in something about sex, but it could be that too. And you find yourself exhausted and diminished. This woman here, she's cultivating, maintaining, nursing her sensuality by the practice of her movement and the music, and it's like putting your finger in the cake batter after your mother or grandmother mixed the cake and, oh, give me the bowl, I want to taste that sweet batter. She's maintaining it. She's not shutting it down. See, and she's home in private, maintaining it. It's not that she's putting herself out there in the street, walking around with her breasts hanging out or something tight or whatever. There are a lot of women out here like that, and they'll surprise you. Because as long as you maintain your sensuality, right? And your sense of eroticism and explore that side, that's directly tied into, and this is my theory, it's directly tied into life force. Because when your life force is reduced through sickness and other things, the stress, bad food, all of this stuff, you begin to lose that connection with sensuality and sexuality. So maintain that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we'd live a lot longer if we didn't drain or lose it or disconnect from our sensuality. And the music. Look at society now. It's just all about body parts. They market body parts on social media. You even get on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and you see butts and breasts and butts and vaginas and thighs. It's just body parts. It's like you're going in the Kentucky Fried Chicken and saying, I'll take 2 breasts, I'll take 2 thighs. It's just body parts. Like even with that was a chicken. That was a living, breathing animal at one point. And many of us have just reduced ourselves down to body parts, where we were a living, breathing, whole person. And your life force spills into the sensuous side. And that's when you feel that energy, and you're more apt to feeling a connection because you cultivated yourself. You see, let's just be real with it. Let me just say how it is. When a man jerks off every night, when he masturbates all the time, you're spilling over your energy and you're drained. There's nothing wrong with being aroused. There's nothing wrong with feeling that. But get with somebody that you can relate to, not any body part. Well, I need to find me a girl. I need to find me an orifice. No, don't do that. You don't know what the hell you're connecting to. And the same thing goes for ladies. Be careful when you say you need just the D-I-C-K, because you're going to get what the D-I-C-K is connected to. And you don't want that, because you can do something one time with this person, but the imprint of their spirit, of their soul, if they have diminished energy, it's going to pull you down. And it could be 5 years unless you clean your life and your connections, do your meditations and the mental, physical, and spiritual things you have to do, even the physical stuff with herbs and different things. Now, I'm not a master of that, but I know that much. These things and connections will follow you for the rest of your life. You got to imagine it like a long, invisible rope connected from you to that person. And when they're angry, you may feel yourself a little more aggressive that next day. You didn't see this person in 10 years. You didn't engage in any intimacies in 10 years, but you have a connection to this person and you're going to feel what they feel. This is why when you're in a relationship, it gets stronger, the connection between you and that other person, because you continue to get intimate with them and bond with them. So what this woman is doing is like, she's a fighter that's not fighting anybody. She's shadow boxing. She's keeping herself in shape. So when she opens up her sensuous world to you, oh, what an experience it is. Other people will say, well, you can tell her body used to be better, but her body ain't as good no more. No, it's not about the body. It's about the connection. It's about the turn on, the real turn on. That when you allow each other into each other's sensuous worlds, oh, what a feeling that can be. I always said, you can take, and I'm making this up and I'm exaggerating, right? Just to prove a point. You can take a couple, they're both 85 years old. They were blessed to have that many years in this life, right? And when they got together, when they were younger, they were swinging from the chandeliers. So now physically, they're not into all of that. But just for them to lay in the bed, hold each other's hands, and hug each other, that's got to be more of an explosive experience because of the time invested. More so that they don't have to be swinging from the chandeliers. They've cultivated a sensual momentum, which goes beyond this world, I feel. It's not just here. Because like I've said before, when you orgasm, that's a promise of a different level of existence, right? You tapped into something. Use it righteously. Let it build. She's letting it build. She might be in a long distance relationship. And when she connects with that person, what a feeling that would be. Just understand that you can be building something great, or you can be playing with fire. Sex is not to be taken lightly. And then many years, I admit, I took it lightly. It was a physical thing. And I knew there was more to it. But I was held down in the carnal so much that began to diminish because there wasn't anything I was getting from it. And I was getting drained. And it works either way with both sexes, right? I was getting drained with women who were on a lower level. Some not, some were, some weren't. So I felt certain ways that didn't come from me. Sometimes you'll feel confused in the day. Sometimes because you connected to too many damn people. And then you miss out on your opportunity to ascend on that life force sensuality level. And for those who don't understand it, I'll just say it in a simple way. Maintain your horniness, keep it to yourself. Don't give it away to somebody who's not worthy and who's on a lower level simply because you have this feeling in you and you want to make this stranger a glorified friction provider, which oftentimes you both are not even connected. You're feeling the rubbings of your body and the connection of your body, but you're not connected unless you have a connection. Most of the time, these people get together because of the heat that they feel, and in actuality, masturbating with each other. And I'm talking about full intercourse or oral or whatever you do. You got your own thoughts you're thinking while this person stimulates you. And he or she has their own thoughts in their mind that have nothing to do with you. You may have a woman in your bed, bent over in front of you. And guess what? You thinking about that chick you saw at the mall earlier. You understand? A woman might be with you and she's moaning and groaning, but she's thinking about somebody she's been with before that she truly has a connection with, and she's using you as a human dildo. I didn't mean to go and say all this stuff, but I'm just saying this is something I know. I can't prove it by saying, oh, this study was done, whatever, but I am my own study, and I know that. And another thing I want to say is that with many of us, we jump into the sack too long, too quick. Foreplay, sensuality, feeling it, holding it, Fellas, what happened to being with a young lady and waiting and building that feeling, and she's building it. So when the time is right and you share that with each other, it's orgasmic, it's mind-blowing, it's so beautiful. It sounds corny, but that's the way it's supposed to be. I hear these guys when I was younger, and I hear them say, man, I need to go get this nut. And I didn't know what that meant. I was a young boy. Nut? You just want to buy one nut? Why don't you just get the whole jar of peanuts? Oh man, you crazy. You don't know what that means? And that's when later on I came up with the term glorified friction provider. You have no connection to each other. You're just rubbing off on each other for a quick little feeling, and you're gone because the line has been drawn. I know back in the 70s, the good music, the good soul music, the good romantic music, like the song that I mentioned with Minnie Riperton. I can't play it for you because, YouTube has that copyright stuff going on. But Minnie Riperton, Inside My Love. And they even said, do you want to come inside me or something like that? But she didn't mean it. Like, she meant it that way, but the way that was presented in the song, because I remember the song. When it first came out, I was a teenager, a young teenager. It wasn't something lewd. When a woman shares herself and she's well cultivated and maintained herself and saves it for you and explores the sensuous side of herself, not thinking, well, I'm going to suppress this, you're dead then. And if anything has caused you to be suppressed, have some therapy or do something to awaken that side of yourself for yourself so you have something to give your partner. Your man can't give anything to you if he was banging everything in sight. No connection and didn't cultivate that side of himself. But when you both save it for each other, oh, what a beautiful thing that is. And you can't see anything else. It's a beautiful thing. It's just like, I'm going to speak about something totally irrelevant, but it still ties in. When you heard about that experiment or the observation of the child that was never hugged, as opposed to the child that always got hugs, affirmations of love and support, security, who do you think thrives more when they get older? It's that child that had the hug and the hugs and the security, not just, I fed you, I kept a roof over your head, and I gave you clothes. I know so many people who were raised in households like that they don't know how to love. And they're crying out from the inside, but they don't know how to start because they just don't know. They never had an example of that. The love language, they don't have that love language. They can't give it. They can't even really open up sexually when they get into that. The beauty of who you are, giving your beauty to the next person. The beauty, not just your dimensions. Because I've known women who had perfect bodies, worked out, perfect bodies, kept their skin up, ate perfect food, natural food, and sexually they are dead because they're not in connection with their sensuality, their life force. They're just a body. And you can meet women who have bodies who are imperfect and will blow your mind because of how connected they are. You see what I mean? There's a difference between sexuality and your connection to sensuality and your life force, which means you have to take care of yourself still too. You're not going to maintain sensuality. You can't pour water in a bucket and expect it to hold the water when there's 10 holes at the bottom of the bucket. It's total cultivation. But nobody talks about this stuff anymore. We only see what society pushes out there on the lower level. And what do our kids see as they go through adolescence into adulthood? They don't know any better. See? It's just something to be sold. Well, I could always make money as long as I give this away, and them guys are gonna pay. But you give it away and ultimately you'll pay because you'll be dead as far as your sensuality, because you won't know any better. You're parading your body around and causing lust in people. And after a while, when that's all you depended on and your body's not the way it used to be, nobody's going to pay you no mind. But a woman doesn't have to be physically perfect when she's in balance and has good life force. See? It's a connection of your spirit, your soul, your mind, and your body. That's a beautiful thing. I'll continue on with this topic. If there's any comments or you want me to go and say anything more about it, because I can go explicit but necessary, not to be lewd, but we got to talk about these things. So if you have no one in your life and you yearn for that, cultivate your sensuous energy and life force to taking care of yourself. And trust me, it won't be long before your energy attracts someone on your level or above that wants to deal with you because you're trying to go higher. And you can spot each other in a crowd instantaneously. Trust me, that's the way it is. Anyway, much love to you all. I'd love to hear your comments. Lancescurv out, more to come. Peace.